What's going on, everybody? Travis Witherspoon from Carter Cow Trading, Trade with Travis on YouTube. Hope everybody's doing very well on this Saturday morning. Money is made over the weekends, and this is a trade plan when it comes down to the NODS 100. We're going through an overview about what happened last week, and we're going to talk about what I expect is going to end up happening this week. Like always, we end up looking at it from a weekly, daily, and a 2-hour perspective, and then after that, we make a decision on what's going to end up happening. So overall, if we look at this from the weekly, remember, overall, this market has hit a D extension and it is retracing. Typically, when the market does retrace, it goes at least to the 38.2% before actually being able to make a push to the upside. Now, last week, what ended up happening was that this market ended up breaking a counter trend line break to the upside and subsequently ended up making more of a hammer. Now, with that hammer, typically you will end up seeing more bearish activity end up happening after that based off of this overall movement. So this pair is expected to go down to the 236 for the overall move and have a good retracement. That's an R5 zone for us. But at the same time, the market has broken an uptrend, counter trend line break to the upside. So this is more of a decision zone for us anything else like that. So I can't say if it's going to end up being bullish or if I can't say if it's going to end up being bearish. So we have to allow the market to be able to play itself out to be able to get a better decision. So the weekly is undecided when it comes down to being able to make a decision on that. If we go to the daily, we can see where the market actually ended up breaking that counter trend line to the upside. And then after that, subsequently on Friday, end up breaking a counter trend line to the downside at this particular point. We have a bearish crown that's actually being formed where basically we end up trying to buy up, I want to say last week sometime, or yeah, it was about last week sometime, and the market ended up breaking an A and ended up going to this new level at 10,653, and then after that pushed up 1,000 points to where it ended up pushing up to 11,000 for its overall movement when it broke this trend line to the upside. The market is not in a sell zone right now. It's actually in a no trade zone at this particular point, but it is expected based off of that counter trend line break to have a little bit more of a fall when it comes down to this position. We're at point of control at 11,271 for its overall position since March. We're basically at the point of control on the weekly at the top side of it when it comes down to being right around 11,600 for it to being able to fall. So once again, if we look at this going into Sunday, I would say that this market would be considered to be bearish on the daily. If it's considered to be bearish on the daily, then we go back and we fall back to what we end up saying in our original plan. The weekly is expected to go down to 10,236. The daily, the extension is expected to go down to 9,990. We haven't even did a crown fib yet because we do not have confirmation yet when it comes down to the overall break. But once that happens, if the market does break, expect to fall, it should go down to 85.65 for the overall fall, which means that we have a healthy retracement in this market going to the downside and then expect to be able to push back up after the fact. So with that being said, we said that the weekly is undecided. We said that the daily is in a down position. Let's take a look at the 2-hour, because if we're looking at this from a daily position of being in a weaker spot, then we should expect that the market will give us a chance to be able to sell down at least to the weekly 382 before the market starts to pop back up. Well, we end up having this channel that end up happening through, and then after that, subsequently end up popping back up, retested, and then after that, kept on pushing up to that new high that we ended up having, which was at 11,600. That new high created a new C when it came down to the daily. And then after that, we end up breaking a counter trend line break to the downside. So that goes our breakout. Now, typically when you end up having a breakout, you end up having a retest that ends up happening from there. So what I'm expecting is to see this. Because we are in the buy zone, I do expect that we're going to end up getting a counter trend line break to the upside, just a little bit of a retest. And then after that, we'll probably end up pushing up towards the 11,450 to the 11,470 area. Once that happens, that's where the major decision is going to end up happening from the market makers, from everybody else that's actually trading. If we do get a break and if we get a break and a rejection to the downside, then I do expect that the market will continue to go ahead and go down to that overall weekly 382 position. If it does not and it keeps on pushing up from here, then after that we should see that the market will end up going up to 11,720 and continue to move towards the overall D extension towards the upside and remain to be in a upside position. With that being said, the probability of success on this overall position is a 69% if we're trading it to the downside. If we end up trading it to the upside, then it's going to end up, if we end up trading it to the upside, it's going to end up being right around a 89% if it does happen from there. So with that being said, what should you do? I will wait and I'll allow the market to be able to make its decision for itself. I would trade the break, I would trade the retest area and go for half of that position. And then after that, wait until the market gets to 11,467. And then after that, make a decision for you, because that could be a possible head and shoulders pattern that could happen from that overall spot. And if that does happen, then obviously the downside movement would end up being there. If you like what we end up doing, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe, and send this over to someone else that you think that will end up working out for them. And like always, believe in yourself. Change will end up coming, and plan your trade, and then trade your plan. Take it easy.